Benedetto says it was the best job she ever had. The New Rochelle senior worked as a waitress at the Davenport Club for about a quarter century, but she was recently fired. The reason, she says her former boss told her, because she's too old.
Why you didn't call me? Why I work? He said to me, well, you're 80 years old.
Benedetto says every week her former employer would call her with her schedule for the week, but in May she says they stopped calling. They never gave her any notice or explained why. In fact, Benedetto says she was never even told she was fired. She had to go into work to find out she was let go. The senior says she always arrived early to work and never had any issues. She didn't even get a severance.
They would have done it to me, they could do it to anybody, but that's not fair.
Benedetto's daughter Lucy says she can barely keep up with her mother, so her age shouldn't be a problem. But the bigger issue, Lucy says, is the way she was treated. Lucy says she wants her mother to fight for her integrity.
Pushed to the curb like a dog, and they didn't have the decency to give her the respect that she deserved.
Benedetto says the State Department of Human Rights is looking into her case. She is also preparing to file a wrongful termination lawsuit. Stefan Kim, News 12.
A spokesperson at the Davenport Beach Club on Long Island Sound declined to comment on Miss Benedetto's charges. Switching gears now to your morning sports report.
Because he gave me the option of just making sure I signed in before I left. I said, no problem. And then I said, well, I'll sign in, right now if you want to hand it to me. He's like, well, why don't you just get out of the pool? And I just said, because I'm self-conscious. And they thought that was crazy. And they kind of laughed at me, started whispering. And then I realized later what they were whispering about, I think. But, so that ended up being a non-event other than half the board showed up at the pool, because they're the ones who acted in for me. Right. And this woman comes down, not even knowing what's going on. She's like, I think she should not be allowed here. And, and they were like, well, legally, I don't think you can do that. They're whispering, I don't know what they're saying. And I just tried to ignore it. A week passes, or about 5 days, and I go down, I guess it's last week, and I'm wearing the same exact thing. And that's why I'm telling you, the cops saw what I was wearing. And I even, have the cops as a witness to this. Because of what I was wearing, this lifeguard, who was a Marine, and yelled at you like she's in Afghanistan, said that she was told that if I continue to wear what I'm wearing, I will not be allowed in the pool. And I'd been wearing it for 6 weeks before, but because she heard me say I was self-conscious, she can figure it out where the thinking is coming from. And she's got the board behind her, everybody hates her, blah, blah, blah. Right. So the thing is, write his name down, Anthony Dusablon. And I recorded this on my phone, right? Okay. That's what iPhones are for. And I went back to my car and got my phone because I just went down there to swim, half an hour before they were closing. And she said, my supervisor said, you could take it up with him if you want. And I was like, fine, let me take it up with him. But she's still yelling. But he, on the phone, says, let me talk to her. And this is all recorded. And I put it on YouTube. And I said, hi, my name is Rita Fortini. What's your name?
Cakes, often called junk food, are being sold exclusively at Walmarts nationwide, but made an early debut at
Junk food on Junk News.
There was even a run on the treat at the Walmart in White Plains Saturday morning. The entire Twinkies supply sold out in just 2 hours.
Interesting.
People have been waiting a while for this one.
Definitely tasty. Hot and humid for the next couple of days, Matt, here in the Hudson Valley. Heat advisory in effect this afternoon.
Now, I went home. Well, I was kind of afraid to talk to the police because it's the second time they come and it's like, the police are going to think, what in the world are you doing?
How is Twinkies for 2 days news? They advertise for Twinkies, but when someone has a real need for the help of the media, it's also so safe, so crafted, so about money.
And yet, a police report is in existence, and I foiled for the police report a week ago. They still haven't given it to me. And the thing is here's the best part. I Googled Anthony Dusablon. It says in 2011 he was arrested for mugging, a mugging spree that involved 3 people with himself and 3 victims, one of whom was a mother with a 5-year-old. This is all on the patch or the Austin Daily Voice, it said. has a big Austin Police Department thing. So everything I'm telling you is all verifiable, and I was hoping, like, maybe you could help me because I have no money to, like, have a... This is not the kind of thing lawyers do unless, I've got other something. And I thought if you could just, on a hot day, there might be a lot of sympathetic people, and you could put some heat on this board. You would not believe the things they've done to me over the years, and if you were interested, you could, read or hear more about it because I put it on YouTube. But, I'm sorry, just, okay. I'm sorry, I don't mean to rush you. No, that's it. What is the pool? What pool is it? It's Hillcrest Park in Peekskill, New York. Peekskill, okay. And can I have your number in case you need more information? Definitely. It's Raina Fortini, and my number is 407-2130. Okay. I'll definitely pass it on. We'll look into it right now and see what we can do, and I'll give you a call if you need any information. Thank you so much. You're welcome. You have a great day. Okay. Thanks. Bye.
End of messages.
So I called them for help about the puppy situation too, and although it seems kind of trite and petty, how is advertising for Twinkies news? All day yesterday, and today they're running the story all day, probably again, about Twinkies being available at Walmart. But somebody like me, who needs a swimming pool medically, I become a joke. And at my age, I don't, go ahead and laugh, but I will make this point to my dying day that what's being done to me, is the essence of bullying. Oh, I am so sick of that word. I gotta come up with a better word. But what happened to the woman who is an 80-year-old waitress? My apologies to her family if I'm sounding insulting, but honestly, 80 years old. Well, I mean, there's gotta, who wants to waitress all day at that age? It's, she obviously has a nice home. She's got a good family. She's taken care of, and she should have gotten severance for sure. But let's not pretend that, being 80 years old and your enjoyment in life is giving assholes coffee makes any sense. It just makes for a cute, safe, non-controversial news story along with the Twinkies crap. And when real people are abusing each other, they just don't want to get involved for it. It's true. Like it's all about everyone being afraid of each other, and even reporters would be afraid of losing their job if anyone sticks their neck out, and that's in fact, I believe, what's happened to me.